भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टरायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरों वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमः। ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारणे। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरद्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, chapter number 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature. And we are reading now the 19th shloka by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you are not audible.
Yes, verse number 19. दैवात् क्षुभित धर्मीण्यां स्वस्यं स्वस्यां योनौ परपुमान् अधत्त वीर्यं साशुत महत्तत्त्वं हिरण्मयम्. Translation.
After the Supreme Personality of Godhead impregnates material nature with his internal potency, material nature delivers the sum total of the cosmic intelligence, which is known as Hiranyamaya. This takes place in material nature when she is agitated by the destinations of the conditioned souls. Purport. This impregnation of material nature is described in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, verse 3. Material nature's primal factor is the Mahat Tattva, or breeding source of all varieties. This part of material nature, which is called Pradhana as well as Brahman, is impregnated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and delivers varieties of living entities. Material nature in this connection is called Brahman because it is a perverted reflection of the spiritual nature. It is described in the Vishnu Purana that the living entities belong to the spiritual nature. The potency of the Supreme Lord is spiritual, and the living entities, although they are called marginal potency, are also spiritual. If the living entities were not spiritual, this description of impregnation by the Supreme Lord would not be applicable. The Supreme Lord does not put his semen into that which is not spiritual. But it is stated here that the Supreme Person puts his semen into material nature. This means that the living entities are spiritual by nature. After impregnation, material nature delivers all kinds of living entities, beginning from the greatest living creature, Lord Brahma, down to the insignificant ant, in all varieties of forms. In Bhagavad Gita 14.4, material nature is clearly mentioned as Sarva Yonishu. This means that of all varieties of species, demigods, human beings, animals, birds, and beasts, whatever is manifested, material nature is the mother, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the seed giving father. Generally, it is experienced that the father gives life to the child, but the mother gives its body. Although the seed of life is given by the father, the body develops within the womb of the mother. Similarly, the spiritual living entities are impregnated into the womb of material nature. But the body, being supplied by material nature, takes on many different species and forms of life. The theory that the symptoms of life are manifest by the interaction of the 24 material elements is not supported. The living force comes directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is completely spiritual. Therefore, no material scientific advancement can produce life. The living force comes from spiritual world and has nothing to do with the interaction of the material elements. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So here Pradhan or Mahat Tattva is explained. And material nature is like a mother, and all the 84 lakh species of the life or living entities are born out of the mother. But the father is Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is a seed giving father, given in the Bhagavad Gita 14.4. Like Sarva Yonishu Kanteya Murteha Sambhavantiyaha Tasam Brahma Mahadyonir Aham Bija Pradapitaha. Aham Bija Pradapita. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. So, this is explained here in the purport. We'll go to the next verse. 20. Vishwam Atmagatam Jnanam Vyanjan Kutaha Kutastho Jagat Ankurah Swatejasa Pibat Tivram Atma Prashvanam Tamaha. Yes, translation.
Translation. Thus, after manifesting variegatedness, the effulgent Mahatattva, which contains all the universe within itself, which is the root of all cosmic manifestation, and which is not destroyed at the time of annihilation, swallows the darkness that covered the effulgence at the time of dissolution. Purport. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is ever existing, all blissful and full of knowledge, his different energies are also ever existing in the dormant stage. Thus, when the Mahatattva was created, it manifested the material ego and swallowed up the darkness which covered the cosmic manifestation at the time of dissolution. This idea can be further explained. A person at night remains inactive, covered by the darkness of night, but when he is awakened in the morning, the covering of night or the forgetfulness of the sleeping state disappears. Similarly, when the Mahatattva appears after the night of dissolution, the effulgence is manifested to exhibit the variegatedness of this material world. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Okay, we'll go ahead. Text 21. Yattat sattvagunam swacham shantam bhagavatah padam yad ahur vasudevakyam chittam tan mahatatmakam. Translation.
Should I read, Prabhuji? The mode of goodness, which is the clear, sober status of understanding the personality of Godhead and which is generally called Vasudeva or consciousness, becomes manifest in the Mahatattva. The Vasudeva manifestation or the status of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is called pure goodness or Shuddha Sattva. In the Shuddha Sattva status, there is no infringement of the other qualities, namely passion and ignorance. In the Vedic literature, there is mention of the Lord's expansion as the four personalities of Godhead: Vasudeva, Sankarshna, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. Here, in the reappearance of the Mahatattva, the four expansions of Godhead occur. He who is seated within as Super Soul expands first as Vasudeva. The Vasudeva stage is free from infringement by material desires and is the status in which one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the objective which is described in the Bhagavad Gita as Adbhuta. This is another feature of the Mahatattva. The Vasudeva expansion is also called Krishna consciousness, for it is free from all tinges of material passion and ignorance. This clear state of understanding helps one to know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vasudeva status is also explained in Bhagavad Gita as Kshetra Jnana, which refers to the knower of the field of activities as well as the superknower. The living being who has occupied a particular type of body knows that body, but the superknower, Vasudeva, knows not only a particular type of body, but also the field of activities in all the different varieties of bodies. In order to be situated in clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one must worship Vasudeva. Vasudeva is Krishna alone. When Krishna or Vishnu is alone, without the accompaniment of his internal energy, he is Vasudeva. When he is accompanied by his internal potency, he is called Dwarkadisha. To have clear consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one has to worship Vasudeva. It is also explained in Bhagavad Gita that after many, many births, one surrenders to Vasudeva. Such a great soul is very rare. In order to get release from the false ego, one has to worship Sankarshna. Sankarshna is also worshipped through Lord Shiva. The snakes which cover the body of Shiva are representations of Sankarshna, and Lord Shiva is always absorbed in meditation upon Sankarshna. One who is actually a worshipper of Lord Shiva, as a devotee of Sankarshna, can be released from false material ego. If one wants to get free from mental disturbances, one has to worship Aniruddha. For this purpose, worship of the moon planet is also recommended in the Vedic literature. Similarly, to be fixed in one's intelligence, one has to worship Pradyumna, who is reached through the worship of Brahma. These matters are explained in Vedic literature. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Yeah, so here the four expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead are explained. That is Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. And Vasudeva is nothing but the devotional service or Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and here Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoga is explained also in Bhagavad Gita. Kshetrajna is Supreme Personality of Godhead who knows everything, and Kshetra is all the living entities. Kshetrajna. Yes, we'll go ahead. verse 22. स्वच्छत्वम् अविकार्वित्वं शान्तत्वम् इति चेतसः वृत्तिभिर्लक्षणं प्रोक्तं यथापां प्रकृतिः परा. Yes, translation.
After
After
manifestation of the Mahatattva, these features appear simultaneously. As water in its natural state, before coming in contact with earth, is clear, sweet, and unruffled. So the characteristic traits of pure consciousness are complete serenity, clarity, and freedom from distraction. Purport. The pure status of consciousness or Krishna consciousness exists in the beginning. Just after creation, consciousness is not polluted. The more one becomes materially contaminated, however, the more consciousness becomes obscured. In pure consciousness, one can perceive a slight reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As in clear, unagitated water, free from impurities, one can see everything clearly. So, in pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one can see things as they are. One can see the reflection of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one can see his own existence as well. This state of consciousness is very pleasing, transparent, and sober. In the beginning, consciousness is pure.
Yes. So we'll take one more verse. 26.23 and 24. महत्तत्त्वाद्विकुर्वाणाद् भगवद्वीर्यसम्भवात् क्रियाशक्तिरहङ्कारस्त्रिविध समपद्यत वैकारिकस्तैजसश्च तामसश्च यतो भव मानसश्चेन्द्रियाणां च भूतानां महताम् अपि. Translation.
The material ego springs up from the Mahatattva, which evolved from the Lord's own energy. The material ego is endowed predominantly with active power of three kinds: good, passionate, and ignorant. It is from these three types of material ego that the mind, the sense of perception, the organs of action, and the gross elements evolve. Purport. In the beginning, from clear consciousness or the pure state of Krishna consciousness, the first contamination sprang up. This is called false ego or identification of the body as self. The living entity exists in natural state of Krishna consciousness, but he has marginal independence, and this allows him to forget Krishna. Originally, pure Krishna consciousness exists, but because of misuse of marginal independence, there is a chance of forgetting Krishna. This is exhibited in actual life. There are many instances in which someone acting in Krishna consciousness suddenly changes. In the Upanishads, it is stated, therefore, that the path of spiritual realization is just like sharp edge of a razor. The example is very appropriate. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji, your voice is clear.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. In the Upanishads, okay, we have read. Okay, the example is very appropriate. One shaves his cheeks with a sharp razor very nicely, but as soon as his attention is diverted from the activity, he immediately cuts his cheek because he mishandles the razor. Not only must one come to the stage of pure Krishna consciousness, but one must also be very careful. Any inattentiveness or carelessness may cause fall down. This fall down is due to false ego. From the state of pure consciousness, the false ego is born because of misuse of independence. We cannot argue about why false ego arises from pure consciousness. Factually, there is always the chance that this will happen, and therefore, one has to be very careful. False ego is the basic principle of all material activities, which are executed in the modes of material nature. As soon as one deviates from pure Krishna consciousness, he increases his entanglement in material reaction. The entanglement of materialism is material mind, and from this material mind, the senses and the material organs become manifest. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes. So we will conclude here and Prabhuji will explain this all the things tomorrow. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhupada.
Bhagavad
Thank you,
Gita ki
Prabhuji.
jai. Thank you,
Happy
Prabhupada.
Thank you,
International Yoga
Prabhupada.
Day,
Thank you, Prabhupada.
everyone.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you,
Yes,
Prabhu. Hare
happy
Krishna.
International Yoga Day.